Welcome back, Comets sports fans, to Comets Sports Talk, where we give you these recaps and previews of these Comets sports. I'm your host, Daniel Pennetti, here with my co-host, Isaac Vargo. And Isaac, football season is back. If you saw our first episode last week, we gave you that preview of the Gahana-Lincoln game. That game's over. Comets go down, unfortunately, and not the way they wanted to start the year.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a tough game going down to Gahana-Lincoln, number 9 team in the state. And Comets, we knew it was going to be tough. We knew it was going to be an uphill climb on both sides of the ball, but the Comets did a really good job kind of staying in the game in the first half. It was a 7-3 score from Max Gogol, made the field goal. And then to start the second half, Nick Cravens went down the field, and he got the scoop and score. The Comets had the lead in the second half, but it's just those offensive plays, 1 for 11 on third down. Couldn't get the offense going really at all. Got off the field way too quickly and just couldn't get the win.
Yeah, and we knew that this team wasn't going to be perfect going into week one. Rarely, no teams really are. A lot of GMC teams went down in week one, so it makes it kind of makes you kind of relax a little more. But like we say a lot, the good thing about a week one loss is that there's 9 weeks to get better. The Comets, like you said, we knew going into this game that the defense, especially the front seven, was going to be their strong suit, and man, they were. You had guys like Noah Dowers, John Hendricks, he said Cravens on the scoop and score. This front seven really showed that why they are potentially one of the best, maybe top 3 in the GMC. It's just this offense just trying to find their identity a little bit. Being week one, like we just said it a minute ago, you knew it wasn't going to be the best showing. But the good thing is now that they go into Lakota East against a team that ranked pretty low in defense last year. They were really riding off of one of the best quarterbacks in the GMC, Jamison Kitna, who got hurt midway through the year, which is why they ended with such a record that didn't reflect how they played. So you look on paper and you're like, well, the Comets should be able to breeze by in this game. It's going to be a very good matchup, especially you look at last year, the Comets avoided facing Kitna.
Yeah, Lakota East had a 1-9 record last year. Their only win coming against Coleraine, who did not have a win. And yeah, Jamison Kitna is not someone to play around with. Zion Neal's going to be a junior this year. He was second in the GMC in receiving last year as a sophomore. So that's something the Comets have to keep in mind. Kaiser Wilhelm was on the outside last game. He played a really good game. He had an interception in that game. So they kind of just got to bring pressure and make the life of Kitna very uncomfortable. Noah Dowers did a great job of that. Juan Bates and John Hendricks didn't have any sacks, but they were definitely in the backfield all of last game. So pretty much what the Comets got to do, they just got to stay on the field on offense and just try to get a couple of those first downs going to get good drives going and then get off the field on defense.
Yeah, they just really got to play to their strengths. And like we said, we know the strengths is that defensive line. And hopefully that can make some room for this offense to really find what works and see what can click for them, because this offense, the stats aren't great, but they had so many flashes that were called back for penalties. You look at the stats, the Comets, 7 penalties for 72 yards. That is an absolute killer.
Yeah.
You're not going to win a game when you're losing in that penalty battle. Same as the turnover battle. Even though the Comets won in the turnover battle, but all the 1-11 on third down, having those penalties, it's really going to come back to bite you.
Yeah, it's going to be a great chance for the offense of Mason. Pretty much what happened with Lakota East last year, why they weren't as good as people thought they'd be, is their defense wasn't great. They went 1-9, as we said, and mostly is because that defense couldn't bring pressure. Ashton Chafe, if he's going to be the guy to start in this game, is going to have more time than he had against Gahana-Lincoln. He looked a little uncomfortable, a lot of pressure coming. So he's going to have the time he wants. They just got to they got to take care of the ball. Penalties have to be in their favor, and I think the Comets can get this done.
Yeah, the Comets, you look at it, they should be able to come out of this game victorious. Trevor Rose was able to go down and talk to Coach Castner again this week on how the team is preparing for this opener for the GMC. Let's take it down to Trevor.
Back with Coach Castner. Coach Castner, how you doing today?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for having me down here. Last week wasn't the outcome that everybody was expecting, but we'll move on from last week. We're getting ready for a big week GMC play against Lakota East, Battle of Butler Warren. What's one thing that you preach for your team this week?
Just taking advantage of our opportunities when they're in front of us, whether it's offense, defense, special teams. Just try to take advantage of those opportunities. making sure every little thing matters. We've kind of have a tendency to let a practice slip away. We start off really well, and then we don't finish. So we've got to put 4 quarters together. Lakota East is going to be hungry to come after us. We beat them at home last year. You know, it is the Battle of Butler Warren, and we're excited for it. I think the kids are excited to get into GMC play. But for the most part, we just got to take advantage of the opportunities when they're in front of us.
Mason has won this game against Lakota East since 2019. That was the last loss that you guys had against Lakota. What's one thing that you're expecting from your seniors, your captains, to kind of come out and do with the team?
Well, I think, you know, we always try to play hard for each other, and play harder for each other, play for the LGL. You bring back history, whether it's years. I mean, it matters, but it doesn't matter because really, you know, it's a total new Lakota East team. It's a total new Mason team. You know, we're going to play 4 quarters. We're going to be at their place. So, you know, when we get on a bus and we take that short trip over, we've got to have the mindset that we got to go play to play every quarter, play hard, give everything we have, but most importantly, play together.
All right, and that will be all for this week. Again, Coach Castner, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and send it back to Isaac and Daniel.
That'll do it here for this second episode of Comet Sports Talk. We thank you for listening all the way through. Special thanks to Darren Lapthorne for giving us some of this music for the intro, as well as Owen Hurley for supplying us with some of this game footage from last week. That'll do it here. I've been your host, Daniel Pennetti, with my co-host, Isaac Vargo. And as always, go Comets.
Go Comets.